office because this kid was in trouble all the time. He goes, did he come up with that? I said, hey man, don't tamper. It's working. He goes, I was got tired of seeing him. He goes, hey, if the kid came up with it, it's his own solution. And we're all laughing about it later. And he's like, it worked. I said, no. I said, take the tape off. Take the tape off. He was a good kid. He just couldn't shut up. I said, now imagine being able to do that without the tape. And then I went over to this, what I'm telling you now with him. And he's gone on to be fairly successful. I said, think about it. It just takes a little self-discipline, but it takes even more of where do I want to be? Hi, I'm Scot Ferrell. Welcome to What's Your Problem? Now, today's topic, I kind of came up with, my wife and I were talking about it, and she goes, why don't you do this one? So it's very simple. Shut your mouth. How's that? My wife and I were talking the other day. We were at a restaurant and we were like, man, people talk incessantly about nothing. And they have no idea through quantum physics what their words create, right? So she goes, why don't you do a podcast on this? And I said, okay, I'll do it. So today is shut your mouth. What's that really mean? Well, you have to think about words. What are words for? Why were words created? They weren't just to take up space. Words are for creation, not communication. If you think that's not true, well, any psych class you ever took, we always go over methods of communication, how do you do it, especially in behavior school. And then we say only about 7% of communication is verbal, right? So if you take that off, because if you ever wonder if people can communicate without words, drive around Atlanta sometime. There's a lot of communication, a lot. 285, 75, 85, a lot of communication, 400 especially. A lot of people want to communicate how they feel about you when you're driving, especially in rush hour after work. So it's words are for creation. So what happens if I just say how I feel or what I've seen or how I'm thinking? People ask me all the time, why is my life a mess? Well, I always go, you're the sum total of everything that you've thought, you felt, and you said and did prior to you talking to me about this. You create your own future. You are really the creator of the rest of your life, right? It's when I was sitting in 7th grade, Mr. Rose's class, Snoresville. It was, I think it was chemistry. I was like, if I have to sit here any longer, I'm just gonna, somebody shoot me. But he had this poster up. And we always made fun of all of his little inspirational pictures all over the walls. I was not that teacher. I never decorated my own class as a teacher. My department head would normally get sick of it and decorate it for me. My thought was, it's the kids' class, let them decorate it. So I always had the kids do all the artwork. But he had this thing that said, today's the first day of the rest of your life. And we're always like, that's so stupid. It was true though, wasn't it? It's a cliche, but isn't it true? Today we can recreate whatever we want. And if we think about, if we look at the Bible, Hebrews 11, you have to bring the unseen to the seen. If you really think about it, every single thing that we see now, so I'm looking around this room, we got 4 walls and a roof, and we got a camera, and we got lighting, and I'm wearing clothes, and you're wearing clothes. Somebody had to see that, act on that, say that, and then do it, and then make it for this to be true. My coat. My tailor made my jacket for me. We started with a swatch this big, and then we had to create it from there. My hair, the colors, the place that we're filming in now, the chair I'm sitting in. Somebody had to think it, believe it, feel it, say it, do it. So if this is true, if shutting my mouth solves a lot of problems, because prior to being married, I went on some dates to where I stopped, watched one girl. We were in this restaurant 2.5 hours. I said, hello. Don't even think I got my name out. Sure, I knew that. Yeah, that was it. And I ordered my food with the waiter. And that was the last time I spoke. And I was sitting there going, is she going to breathe? Will she choke on her food if she stops talking? The only time she stopped talking was when she stuck something in her mouth. And I was like, wow, do people really talk too much? You got to remember, everything that comes out of your mouth is creating your next future. If that is true, would it be smarter to go, duct tape? Probably a good idea to put the duct tape on till I figure out what I want my future to be. I had a kid one time, it was physics class. He could not shut his mouth. So he's always in trouble. So he looks at me one day and goes, Mr. Ferrell, I got a solution. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't think you'll like it. So he comes in the next day and he's like, Mr. Farrell, can I go in your desk? Yeah, okay, what do you need? I need some tape. I don't need Scotch tape though. I need either duct tape, electrical tape. What you got? I was like, what, you got a hole in your book bag or something? He goes, no. So he takes the whole tape back with him. He's sitting at a lab table. And I go on with what I'm doing. I'm checking roll or whatever. I look up and he's got a piece of silver duct tape across his mouth. I said, is that your solution? He goes, for the rest of the semester, this is no lie, this is so funny. My principal walked in. He could not figure out why this kid had not been in his office because this kid was in trouble all the time. He goes, did he come up with that? I said, hey man, don't tamper. It's working. He goes, I was got tired of seeing him. He goes, hey, if the kid came up with it, it's his own solution. And we're all laughing about it later. And he's like, it worked. I said, no. I said, take the tape off. Take the tape off. He was a good kid. He just couldn't shut up. I said, now imagine being able to do that without the tape. And then I went over to this, what I'm telling you now with him. And he's gone on to be fairly successful. I said, think about it. It just takes a little self-discipline, but it takes even more of where do I want to be? So this brings us back to another question I ask frequently of my clients. What do you want? What do you want? See, complaining gives you more of what you don't want. It's so easy for us as humans to state what we don't want. I don't want that, I don't want that, I want that, I want that, I don't want that, some of that. No, I don't want a side of that either. And then we get in a relationship and all we do is complain about our spouse or our boyfriend or girlfriend, and we get more of that. And then we get rid of them, and it's funny how we end up with another one just like them. And then we end up with a job we don't like, and it's just like the previous one. And if you'll notice that all your problems are the same problems, regardless of where you are. You can move, and it's miraculous how the same problem sneaks back up on you. See, the problem's you. I wrote a book, man. You can look this up on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever you want to get it, my own website. It's not them, it's you. Yeah, see, the way I figured this was, all right, if quantum physics is true, which it is, and every word that I speak creates my future, would it be wise to only speak words that create the future that I want? Yes. So how did I meet my wife? Well, I said, okay, if my words are going to create who I marry, and I've got to figure out who I want to marry. So I wrote a list of 100 things that I want in my next wife. Now I'm only going to say these things. I'm only going to look for these things. I'm only going to create the magnetic field for these things, and then she's going to show up. Within 2 months of making my list, my wife shows up. I'm speaking it every day, and then she ended up having all 100. Figured that out on the first date. She had all 100 on my list. I was like, I've hit the jackpot. This stuff works. So if it works for my spouse, what else will it work for? Well, job, friends, cars, houses, whatever it is, because you always have to think, if I'm gonna think it, and I can feel it, and I'm gonna say it, I'll go do it. Losing weight. All right, I've decided I'm gonna lose weight. Now I'm only speaking, I weigh, what would be my ideal weight right now? I weigh 205 pounds. I weigh 205 pounds. I don't address what I weigh right now, and I'm going through it. You only speak the desired outcome, only speak. I know when I was terminally ill, I never spoke that I was sick. I never spoke any of the illnesses I had. I would speak, my body replicates cells perfectly. My heart functions as if it's brand new. And then I went through from head to toe on what was going on every single day. Guess what? I get up one day, my blood, all my organs, and my eyes are completely healed. Accident? What else if I'm speaking? I'm dying. But they've told me I had a couple months, and I think I'll die then, and I'll die. I'd be dead. What was I speaking? Bible guarantees Genesis 6:3. I have 120 years. Every cell in my body functions the way God intended, and I just went over it and over it and over it and over it and over it, and now I'm healed. All right, so if I said if it works for healing, it works for money, right? And then it works for friendships, and then it works for, see where I'm going with this? We really are the prophet of our own life, to use a cliche, but we can speak our future. We are what we speak. We are what we say. Words have power. If that's true, would it be a good idea for you, and for me too, to go, I might want to shut my mouth. I got to shut it. I got to shut that thing, man. I'm only going to say what I want to happen. So then it takes some noggin scratching and some pen writing. And now I got to write out what I want to say. I have my clients, if they can't shut it, I give them a script. I give them a piece of paper. All right. So I say, if it's not on this piece of paper, you can't say it. Hey, good morning. How are you? If it's not on the paper, you can't say it back. So you better write something down on that paper. And then I have them put them in the car. I have put them in their bathroom, in their bedroom, in their kitchen, on their fridge. Everywhere they are, I have their script there. And that's the only thing they're allowed to say all day long. Why? So now they're going to get what they're saying. But we have to figure out what you want before you can say it. Life can be observed or life can be lived. And an old cliche would be, you can stay in the bleachers or get on the field, right? You can have what you say. You're having right now what you're saying. You're an active participant in your life. You can get what you want out of life. Just say it. But you got to figure out what you want to say. And then you got to have enough self-discipline not to say anything other than what you want to say. How's that? All right, I hope this helps. Now, if you have any questions, which I'm sure you do, a lot of people do, or people want to go, Scott, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand my life. My life, hey man, I know you're unique. But when it comes to this, you're not unique. Quantum physics is not going to rearrange for your life. All right, so you can always go by our website, wyppodcast.com, get a little tidbits, information, resources about our show there. Or if you got a problem, send it to me. And that's problem@wyppodcast.com. Also, while you're here, subscribe. You know, you can do that. Go ahead, right there. It's right there. It's right there. Go ahead, finger, right there. And if you know somebody who talks a lot, if you have Susie Talks a Lot, it's a reference back to the movie Elf, send them the video. Hey man, these are free resources for you guys. I do these to help people. All right, so you can do that. Now remember, if you have any questions, send them to me, wyppodcast.com. And then a problem is problem@wyppodcast.com. All right, I'm Scot Ferrell. If I can be of service to you, let me know. Just send me an email. Until next time, take care.